For a long time now, millions of people around the world, as well as many of the world's military, have witnessed and caught on camera UFOs or UAPs flying around our skies at incredibly high speeds or splashing into our oceans as if no natural forces have any effect on the way the crafts move. Have you ever wondered how they operate? How they are able to dart from one position to another in the sky within a matter of seconds? How they can make 90-degree turns, stop abruptly, and then speed off instantly at very high speeds with no clear means of propulsion? How they can fall from the sky, splash into the ocean, move under the water, all at very high speeds, and then appear back out again as if our atmosphere and water has no effect on them? Well, there has been a breakthrough theory on how they operate. With enough energy, you can create a bubble, an energy bubble around a craft that would have a different property of space-time inside the bubble than on the outside of the bubble. This energy field would completely isolate the craft from any environment. So you might ask, how does the craft actually move forward within its bubble? Well, the craft inside the bubble has a way of altering the bubble's properties. In order to change its direction of motion, you would have a downward press in the front and an upward press behind. So it would be like riding space-time in the same way that a surfer would ride a wave in the ocean. And so we observe hypersonic velocity and instantaneous acceleration. And the reason for this is that time is moving differently for the beings inside of the bubble than it is for the people outside of the bubble. Whoever is inside of the craft would feel like they're just smoothly cruising along. They wouldn't be feeling the effects of what looks like speed and acceleration, that same speed and acceleration that would turn a human being into mush. This one breakthrough can be key to interstellar travel, where you want to travel long distances without taking enormous amounts of time. We would also have low observability because the bubble acts as a barrier between two space-time environments. This would eliminate or conceal most of the known signatures of conventional technologies. This is why our radars have difficulty tracking a craft, because the signal from the radar would be distorted by the energy field around the craft. The radar signatures literally just move around the bubble and doesn't reflect back to the radar emitter. So it's not surprising that when someone takes a photo of a UAP, they find they get a fuzzy and bad quality picture of the craft, because they're actually taking a photo through a space-time barrier. What's been happening recently is that the world's military have upgraded the sensor systems on fighter aircraft with better technology, and these clearer images and videos that we now see being released were picked up and recorded with advanced sensors. So now we can begin to see the actual structure of the energy field around the craft, which in the past they would not have been able to see. We also observe trans-medium travel because the craft is moving within its own space-time, and the outside environment through which the craft is moving is insignificant. This would allow the craft to go seamlessly from space through our atmosphere and into the water, and they could do so because the energy bubble that surrounds them shuns air molecules or ocean water molecules around the craft, so that it can move effortlessly through any medium. We also observe anti-gravity because the Earth's gravitational field is no longer having any effect on the craft inside of its space-time bubble. This is why a craft does not need engines or wings or other aspects that we would associate with a craft that needs to fly in the atmosphere. It's really just disconnected from the atmosphere. And the energy field associated with these craft causes a highly energetic wave of radiation, which is why people that get too close to a UAP can experience biological effects that are harmful to humans, such as radiation burns. Now that we understand that these craft exist in a space-time environment that's different from the exterior space-time environment, this can begin to explain claimed observations by people who have approached or gotten into a craft, and find that time is running at a different rate inside of the craft than time running outside of the craft. They think they have only been in there for a few minutes, but when they come back outside the craft, some hours have gone by, so they feel like they've lost time and missing hours. Or similarly, with respect to the size of the craft, if someone is outside the craft and see that it looks like a small craft, but when they go inside, it's the size of a football stadium. Once you realize that space and time are being engineered to be different inside of the craft than they are outside of the craft, then these reports that people make of seeing UAPs zipping across the sky at immense speeds, or getting radiation burns from getting too close to a craft that all can sound completely crazy, can actually make sense, and people are not actually mad.